Hey YouTube, it's Charlie from Reader Turned Writer, and today I wanted to share my 2021 TBR list. Every year I go through my Goodreads TBR list, which has over 1,000 books on it now. It always gets so ridiculous because I just see so many books that you guys are reading that I just love the idea of, and I'm like, oh, I want to read that. And I add them, but then I can only read so many books a year, and I follow so many people on BookTube, and it's a good problem to have. I remember when I used to have the problem of not knowing what to read next, so I'm glad I have this problem. But every year I go in my bullet journal and I make a list of the books that I want to read for the year. And I have, so this year, this is my list, and I just take 36 books, so that's 3 books a month, to add to my TBR. I usually read between 10 and 15 books a month. So 3 is very doable because I have a lot of other reading goals that I want to hit, like classics and series and rereads and, you know, all non-fiction books and writing craft books and stuff. So 3 is very doable for me, and these I try and pick ones that I'm like, I really want to read these. These are ones that have been on my radar for a while. I try and get a wide variety of genres, a variety of like reading levels, like YA, middle grade, adult, etc., and try and read different ones. And so I'm just gonna share with you what I really want to read this next year. You can let me know if you've read them, what you thought of them, or if they are on your TBR list as well. So first I want to read Belgravia by Julian Fellowes, and he is the one who wrote Downton Abbey, which I love. It's probably my favorite TV show, so I'm really interested in reading a book by him. I have heard mixed things about this, but I'm hoping that I love it. I'm going to read The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton, and this is one that I have heard so much good about, and I have heard that it's really touching and just really important to read, that it changes the way that you think about things. And then Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, and I believe that those are connected, like I think they're about like the same story, but I'm not sure. But either way, I've heard good things about both of them. I want to read Heist Society by Ali Carter. My husband and I watched a lot of heist movies this year, including Ocean's 11 and all of those movies, and I just love heists. I love Leverage, I love Oceans, I love The Italian Job. If you know of any cleanish heist movies, like PG-13 heist movies that are really good, please let me know, because I cannot find any more good ones, and I am really starved for heists, and so I wanted to find a heist book to read, and this was the top one that came up when I was searching, so hopefully it's good. I also want to read Real Friends by Shannon Hale. This is like a middle grade graphic novel, and I really like Shannon Hale, so I'm hoping that I like it. I want to read A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park. This is a middle grade historical fiction. It takes place in 1985 Sudan, so yeah, it's just kind of different. I love finding, right now I'm really into finding historical fiction that isn't about World War I or II, because I've read so much of that. Not that I don't like it, I do like it, which is why I've read so much of it, but it's kind of cool to find other things and learn about other time periods and other cultures and things. So I want to read As Bright as Heaven by Susan Meissner? I'm not sure how you say her name. This is a YA fiction that kind of focuses on like the mom and daughter, so I think it's YA. It takes place in 1918. It's a historical fiction, so I'm assuming it's around like the Spanish flu pandemic, which is just kind of interesting right now with everything going on, you know. I want to read Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth by Sheila O'Connor. This is a YA historical fiction set in the Vietnam War, so that'll be interesting. I want to read The Jane Austen Society by Natalie Jenner. I've heard mixed things about this as well, but I am really interested in reading it, especially since this year I'm doing my Jane Austen marathon, which you can go check out if you're interested in reading any Jane Austen books with me or watching any of the adaptations. And it's just going to be kind of a Jane Austen year for me, so I thought it would be fun to read a Jane Austen book like this one. I think it references a lot of the different books of Jane Austen's, and it's a little slower moving, but it's also like character driven, so I'm hoping I like it. I also want to read The Invention of Sophie Carter by Samantha Hastings. This is a YA historical romance, and I do like historical romances, and so yeah, hopefully I like it. I want to read To Catch a Suitor by Sarah Adams. This is one of her older books that I haven't read. I'm mostly caught up on her books currently. I really like Sarah Adams. She is a self-published author that I found on Instagram that I just absolutely love her writing. She writes clean, but still like really fun and cheesy romances. And this is a Regency romance that she wrote that I want to catch up on. I also want to read, I'm almost embarrassed to say that, I want to read this one, 27 Ways to Find a Boyfriend. It just sounds really cheesy. By Sherry L. Tapscott. This is an adult contemporary romance that hopefully is clean. That's my problem with reading romance. I'm always like, please don't have sex scenes in this. But then sometimes you can know, but sometimes it's just really hard to know. I also want to read One to Watch by Kate Stamen London. This is an adult rom-com. I recently, because of Sarah Adams, I recently discovered that I love adult rom-coms that are clean, and so I'm really excited to try this one. And I want to read Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. This is a popular YA contemporary romance that's been going around BookTube that looks really cute to me, so I wanted to try it. I wanted to read The One by John Mars. This is a sci-fi rom-com. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but I do want to read sci-fi because when I have read it in the past, I have enjoyed it, and so I'm trying to consciously slip some sci-fi in here, and I thought a rom-com that was a sci-fi sounded interesting. I want to read Pay Attention, Carter Jones by Carrie D. Schmidt. This is a middle grade contemporary. I don't read a lot of middle grade contemporaries, so hopefully it's good. And I want to read New Kid by Jerry Craft. This is a YA graphic novel contemporary that I have seen before on BookTube, and I am really interested in whether or not I will like it. Then I want to read Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, and this is another YA contemporary. And Necessary Lies by Diana Chamberlain. And this is it's like a historical fiction contemporary adult book. I'm not really sure what it's about right now. When I put them on my list, I knew, but it's been a while since I put them on my list. Since I haven't read them, they don't stick in my memory, if that makes sense. So I have a little cheat sheet paper here to remember exactly what they are, so that I can kind of tell you at least bare bones what they're about, or at least oh, it's a YA, you know. Then I have on my list Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I've now read 2 books by her and enjoyed it, so I'm hoping I like Firefly Lane as well. And it's an adult contemporary. And I want to read Sherlock Academy by F.C. Shaw. This is a middle grade mystery book. Obviously it's about, I think it's kids go to this school to become detectives or something, but I've heard really good things about the entire series, so I'm really excited to read it. And then I want to read Deadly Curious by Cindy Anstey. This is a middle grade historical mystery. I love historical mysteries as long as there's a strong emphasis on the mystery part. If it's mostly history with just a little bit mystery, that sounds really weird because it rhymes almost. If it's mostly history and the mystery part's really slow moving and I'm not expecting that, then I don't like it very much. But since it's middle grade, I'm hoping that the mystery part will be a strong emphasis. I want to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and this is a YA thriller that I've heard really good things about. And I want to read Killing Mr. Griffin by Lois Duncan, and this is a YA mystery, maybe thriller. I'm not sure. I think it's mostly mystery, and I don't really actually know very much about it, but I think it looked really interesting to me on Goodreads. I want to read The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I have no clue how you say that. It looks like Michael, but then it has IDES at the end. And this one is a psychological thriller. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it, but I'm gonna try. And then I also want to read 13 by Steve Kavanaugh, and this is an adult thriller. Thrillers are always a little bit of a gamble for me because I'm I hope I can handle this. I hope it doesn't have too much stuff in it that will bother me, because violence and sex and language usually bother me in books if it's too much, and thrillers tend to have more of that kind of stuff in it, so we'll see with those two. I also want to read The Dry by Jane Harper, and this is an adult mystery book. The mystery books I'm not as worried about, the thrillers I'm a little more worried. And then I want to read A Novel Murder by Elizabeth Penny. I actually already read this one because it is January and it was the first book I read. Sorry, reading of the year, one of the first books I read. And it's an adult cozy mystery, and it's pretty cute, pretty good, nothing spectacular. And I want to read The Peach Keeper by Sarah Addison Allen. This is a historical mystery and it's an adult one. I'm guessing it's going to have a bigger focus on the history, and I'm going in expecting that, so hopefully I like it still. And then I want to read Sweep, the Story of a Girl and Her Monster by Jonathan Auxier. It was the middle grade March pick a couple years ago, and I didn't read it with them, and ever since I've regretted it because everybody raves about it. It's a middle grade fantasy, kind of like a historical fantasy, I think. I want to read A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison, and this is a middle grade fantasy. I want to read The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, and this is a YA fantasy. I'm going to read Dawn of Wonder by Jonathan Renshaw. This is an epic fantasy. I don't read a lot of epic fantasies besides Brandon Sanderson. I have read a couple. I liked one of them, so we'll see. I want to read Princess of Shadows by A.G. Marshall, and this is like a retelling of The Princess and the Pea, which is really interesting to me. I love retellings. I want to read Sweet Black Waves by Christine Perez. This is a retelling of Tristan and Isolde. And finally, I want to read Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. And this is a sci-fi that I have read a lot of good about. I am going to get off now because my kids are struggling, but thank you so much for watching my video. This is what I am hoping to read next year, so drop in the comments below if you've read these or what you want to read next year. And if you're interested in following my reading journey, don't forget to check out Goodreads. I post all of my reviews for every book that I read there. I'm also pretty active on Twitter and Instagram. All of those links will be down below. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for lots of bookish content, reading and writing and everything. And thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.